Now, Kathy Hochul, the first woman to ever deliver a New York State of the State address. Hochul took office 4 months ago following the resignation of Andrew Cuomo. The two may share the same party, but in Wednesday's State of the State, she sounded completely different, appearing in person before a mostly empty assembly chamber. A little background now from NBC5's Elena Barilla.
Healthcare, a major topic for the 2022 State of the State address, now 2 years into the pandemic, with Governor Kathy Hochul addressing a tired and hemorrhaging workforce, with plans to invest in wages, bonuses, and $3,000 retention payments.
I'm setting an ambitious goal to grow our healthcare workforce by 20% over the next 5 years. And we'll make the largest investment in healthcare in state's history. $10 billion.
State Republicans have responded to the State of the State address and the governor's response to the pandemic.
She continued and doubled down on implementing a dangerous and wrong-headed vaccine mandate on healthcare and hospital workers, forcing their firings if they didn't comply.
Senator Dan Stack wanted the governor to address criminal justice topics such as parole changes and bail reform.
This is a problem that needs to be addressed. It's gone too far, and we've had a lot of negative effects from it. She made no mention of that, so I think that was an opportunity missed for her.
A topic on both sides of the political aisle Wednesday: population.
300,000 New Yorkers left our state last year alone. That's the steepest population drop of any state in the nation.
Senate Republicans saying it's the greatest threat to New York's future economy. Governor Hochul unveiling a plan to strengthen the state's workforce.
Our goal is for New York to be known nationally as the place that grows and attracts the talent, and the businesses will follow. And for businesses to succeed, they need a well-trained and educated workforce.
The governor also talked about restoring faith in government, which includes a proposal for 2 term limits for state leaders.
For government to work, those of us in power cannot continue to cling to it. We need to continually pass the baton to new leaders with different perspectives and fresh ideas.
Elena Barilla. Well, reaction poured in, as you'd expect. The group representing independent business owners applauded Hochul's push for small business tax relief. The union representing SUNY faculty loved her commitment to revitalize state university campuses, including adding childcare facilities on every one. Assemblyman Billy Jones, a Democrat who represents northern New York and Albany, said this could be a turning point in New York state politics. Here's part of our conversation. Assemblyman Billy Jones, thanks for being with us on NBC5 In Depth.
Always a pleasure.
How did Governor Hochul sound to you? I mean, it was such a difference in style and tone, and of course, she's the first woman ever to give a State of the State address in New York State.
Sure. I thought she came across very well. I think she set the tone right off the bat. She wanted partnership with the legislature. She wanted to work together. And that's something we haven't heard in a number of years. I thought she came off great. She did the address in the assembly chambers, which traditionally it had been done and not in the last 10 years during the Cuomo administration. So I was very impressed by right off the bat her saying, I want to work together as a legislature to move New York forward. So as a legislator myself, that's what we want to hear.
And she wasted no time telling you and all New Yorkers that, the turf battles, and she talked about the governor of New York and the mayor of New York City, at odds with each other. The petty rivalries are over with her.
And that was impressive.
That ends now. The days of New Yorkers questioning whether their government is actually working for them are over. And the days of 3 men in a room are clearly over. Just ask the majority leader. And we know that women are always held to a higher standard. So I know that I must not just meet, but exceed expectations for this to no longer be an historic achievement, but rather the norm. So we'll do things differently. From now on, we'll share success. We'll find common ground. We'll restore trust in this government because it's been eroded for far too long. And we will fight like hell, not for turf, not for credit, but for New Yorkers.
Is this really a turning point?
I hope so. I think so. And like I said, her spirit of collaboration, of partnering with with the legislative body, with local officials. She made it a point to say she wants to work with everybody to move New York forward. That's something that I look forward to, and it really is a breath of fresh air.
Let me ask you about some of the key themes and ask you if they were sufficient for your folks in the northern counties. $1 billion for broadband. How big a deal is that for you?
Very big. I've mentioned before, I'll mention it again, broadband and cellular service are probably a third of our constituent outreach, or people that call my office, email my office. We're dealing with that on a regular basis, day to day. People want to be connected. It's so important in every facet in our life now. So I was happy with that. Not only the $1 billion that's going to be invested with a combination of federal and state money, but also streamlining the process, getting rid of these right-of-way fees that have really hampered rural development of broadband in the past couple of years. So look forward to working with her on that as well. We really need to do that.
You've got a big SUNY campus in your district, more than one. A renaissance for SUNY.
Yes, and I was happy to see or hear her mention that a few times, giving TAP assistance to part-time students, which will help with workforce development. And we know, Stuart, in the past couple of years, and even before the pandemic, our workforce, there are big gaps there. It's hurting our employers, hurting our nonprofits. People need to get people into these positions, and her mentioning that and taking steps towards filling these positions, helping our small businesses out, it needs to be done. Like I said, it was a big issue before the pandemic, and certainly is a huge issue now. We need to fix those gaps in the workforce.
It's getting harder and harder for people to believe in their elected leaders at all levels of government. And here's the question: how do we restore their faith? Here in New York, our answer is to demonstrate what good and honest governance looks like. And we've already announced our first step. We are submitting a proposal to the legislature to enact 2 term limits for statewide officials. For government to work, those of us in power cannot continue to cling to it.
Faith in government. Will the legislature go along with the constitutional amendment to limit terms for top office holders, ban on outside income?
I think it's a little too early to say, but I have no problem with that. I can't speak for my colleagues, but certainly she wants to be, she put it out there, wants some, in JCOPE, she wants to reinvent JCOPE. She wants an ethics commission that actually has some teeth to it, that will actually be an independent ethics commission that will go after whoever violates the trust of our citizens. So I like to hear that as well. We always need to have people have faith in our government, and I think this will go a long way in doing that.
Anything that you wish you'd heard and didn't?
Criminal justice, I think it's been talked about a lot. She went into public safety, and there have been reforms in the past couple of years. I would say, crime is on the rise, and we know that it is, and we need to address that. I know she addressed gun violence, but certainly in some of the issues that we have seen in the past couple of years, dealing with bail reform and other issues, crime has risen. So we need to address that and seriously address that, I should say. People have a few things that they want to be reassured, especially here in the North Country, throughout New York State. Public safety is a big issue, maybe one of the bigger issues that families and individuals deal with throughout this country and throughout the world. They want to feel secure and safe in their neighborhoods. And I would say, I think we need to do more to address the rise in crime, for sure.
Assemblyman Billy Jones. By the way, we've posted the videos of both the Kathy Hochul and Phil Scott State of the State addresses on our website, mynbc5.com. You can go there to watch them. They each run about 35 minutes or so. By the way, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu has no plan, we're told, as of now, for any similar address.